Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is the next part in the series of converting a Robox to use a Duet Wi-Fi board. So we're at the point now where we're going to set up the heated bed and then we'll set up the nozzle and then finally the extruder, and then we're pretty much done, I think. So heated bed, so what we need to do is you need to use solid state relay like this. So you have the Duet Wi-Fi signal comes in here in the DC side. You get a nice little red light here that blinks. It gives you an idea of when the relay's on and off. It's pulsed. And on this side you need to route 240 volts. So what we're going to do is we're going to route. I've already undone the screws on this. Obviously this is all turned off and not plugged in at this point, and it's been off for a while, so there's no stray voltages leaking around in any of these inductors. So you can do it in all sorts of places, but this is where the mains feed comes in. So we're just going to take a live and a neutral off that and use that as part of the bed circuit. And on the Duet Wi-Fi board down here, this is the 24 volts feed to the bed, which will run up and route the wires appropriately up to here, and that should be it. This, I think, is still running. I'll have to check actually, but I think it's still running the standard Robox bed, which is a 240 volt bed, but I might have converted it to run one of the silicon heater mat beds that are about similar size, but I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's running the standard bed. Either way, the bed's 240 volts, so we're all sorted. So what I'm going to do is I'll break out the wires from here and run an extra wires here. Probably recommend just taking this fan out. No, doesn't really do a great deal. It obviously keeps the chamber cool, which is sort of good for PLA, I guess, but it's quite easy. You just leave the lid open, and it never gets that hot in here that when you're reaching afterwards after a print that you're going to burn your hand in the air. So just going to get rid of that, and that's probably where I'll mount the solid state relay. Okay, so I'll be back in a sec when we started to route the wiring. Okay, so we're going to start running the mains wiring side now. Obviously everything's off, so I'm going to undo the mains one here. There we go. I'll just fold that out of the way for a minute, and get the mains wire, and we'll stick them both into the mains terminal. In goes that one, and in goes that wire. There we go. Those are in. Keep a bit of pressure on them, make sure they stay in. I'll tighten up the screw. I'm not sure that's on them, to be honest. Well, let's see. I think it is. No. So you've got to be quite careful with these things. So let's just back that off a bit. Push that in as well. Make sure it goes in. And let's use a little screwdriver to pull a bit more of this cable through. There we go. Should make it a bit easier to get it in now. So, yeah, you could possibly undo all these and make it a little bit easier, but I think we'll get this in. Let's get that back in there. In you go. Yeah, that's it. And push that in as well. So it's a little bit fiddly. That's in. just going to back this screw off a little bit more. Just makes it a bit easier. Let's get all the wires in. Right, we're in. Keep a bit of pressure on them and then tighten it up. That's better. Oh, no. So, yep, you can faff around like this. Or I'm going to do what I said, and I'm just going to undo these corner things. There's 1, 2. There we go. And just lift this up. And we'll put them in. Pull a bit more of this cable mains lead through, as we've got a bit of thing to play with. Right. So yeah, this is probably the better way to do it, to be honest. Just it's a lot easier to access these things now. So we'll back that off. Push that in there and push. I might be better tinning this, but let's shove that one in first, and then this one second. There we go. Right, that's got them both in. What did have? There you go. Oh, what a pain. That's that in. This might be best being tinned. There we go. That's got him in there, so that's properly in there now. And just tighten that up, and then check that it's not going to pull out. No, that's properly in there. So a bit of a pain. So then I'm going to route this. Let's put the earth. It's probably going to route round here, or it could go that way. Either way, probably this way actually. We'll route it underneath the earths. Like that. And then it wants to go to this side of the mains block. There's the solid state relay. So, and the best way to secure this, believe it or not, is just cable ties through this metal grill and through these points here. So that sort of wiring length looks about right, just with a little bit of extra on it, so about there. So we'll cut that there. It looks pretty good, and we'll use my favourite trick for getting rid of insulation. Pull it off. Tighten it up, and then we'll undo these clamps here. There we go. And then this wants to be right into there. And obviously you do not want this coming loose. Get it right in, and make sure you're not clamping on the insulation. Get it right into the copper, and then just tighten these up. Don't over tighten, because I've had a couple of these where if you over tighten it you can strip the thread on these screws and then it's a bit of a pain. But that's nice and solid on there. Alright, and then what we'll do is we'll route the other side. Straight back through. I might actually route it underneath here, because it is raised up, this circuit board, and that 24 volts. I think I'll run it underneath, so put that back. And run that underneath there. I'm going to make sure this earth here goes back. So just push this. I'm not going to tighten it all up yet though, because we've got to run the feed back to the other side of the relay, and we've also got to run from the other side of the bed back to the neutral side. So, okay, so let's see this. That should run under the board quite nicely. Make sure it's got enough length on it. So we're talking something like that. A bit more. There we go. Yes, let's put this on this side. Again, make sure you're not crimping on the insulation. There we go. Pull. So yeah, so that routes through here. We'll put that through where the fan used to be. Under there. Through there. And then this is going to connect to one side of the bed relay. So we'll leave that there for now. Then the other side, we'll swap to neutral colouring at this point. Other side runs back up to the neutral terminal, and effectively what you've got then is this solid state relay is the break in the mains feed to the bed, and we need to wire the control signal from the Duet to this side of it, and that's the circuit complete. So we'll do this. And just get a bit of that off there. There we go. Okay, so we'll feed this back through the fan side here. There we go. And we want to go into the neutral terminal. Let's see if I can get this in without that one coming out. I'll be lucky. Yeah, I'm gonna be lucky. one in first. There we go, so put that one in. Pull a bit more of this through. These might be better tinned at the end, to be honest, but I've managed it with the other one. I'm just going to get rid of that annoying bit of plastic. So that's that one in. I'll do it this way around. Get that one in first. And get the oh, these are at faff. Alright, let's get you. So that's in, and then we'll push this one in. Right, a bit of persuasion. There we go. They're both in. Get them pushed up tight. And then tighten the screw up. There we go. And then you want to check that these are definitely in tight, they're not going to come out, and that they're not going to touch and short. And there we go. So that earth wants to be back like there. So I'll put this board back in. Typical. That's that one in. Probably should put that piece back on, really, it does help. Stops anything shorting out, not that it will do really, because it's all stepped away from the metal, but we'll put it on. There we go. Make sure I get this. There we go. That's that one in. Okay, and that can go back round over there. Okay, so that's that side done. One last check of everything to make sure it's all good. So yeah, so one last check to make sure it's all good. They're okay, they're not touching. That's going to be okay routed around there. It's not got any exposed conductor on it. That's all fine. That can go back there. So I can put this this shell back over if you want, or leave it off. I mean, kind of keeps the heat in the electronics a bit more than you might want, and you'll have a protective metal cover over here anyway. We'll leave it off for now. So what we need to do next is this is your cable from the Robox mother heated bed. Pretty straightforward, just going to snip them off, and one wire to one side, shorten this wire and one wire to the other, and then that's the main side of the bed done. Okay, so I've just turned the printer on its side so it's just a bit easier, and this is the Robox bed cable. These are the two cables we need to join to complete the main supply circuit. So, really good way to join cables is, one, definitely have some heat shrink, and then we'll also put insulation tape around it as well, because it is mains voltage at the end of the day. Just push these together, fray the ends out like that. Difficult, this is a bit tougher, this wire, than the copper, but push them into each other and then twist them. There we go. And then it's very easy to solder. There we go. And just flip it over. Make sure the solder runs right through everywhere. That's got it. So yeah, you end up with quite a nice solder joint with very well joined. Just put that heat shrink over and use the shaft of the solder iron to shrink it down. There we go, and we'll put some tape around that as well for good measure. So I'll just do this one, then fray it out, fray that one out, push them into each other and twist. It's usually just enough friction to hold them together. There we go. But forgotten the critical item, the heat shrink. So let's put that on. Actually, I'm not sure that piece is going to be long enough. Just going to get another piece. Okay, back, longer piece of heat shrink. Push them into each other again. Give them a twist. It should just be enough, like I say, enough friction to hold it together. Solder iron, some solder. Let it all nicely flow in there. That's one side. Just twist it round. There we go. That's nicely done. And just whack this over. That's top tip with heat shrink is just wait till the joint's cool before you try shoving it over, because you can get here, it starts to shrink down and it all gets snarled up in the soldery bit and won't go over. Just push that over. There we go. And then just shrink it down with the shaft again. Done. And then for good measure we'll put some insulation tape around them as well to keep them together. Annoyingly, always worth checking your routing of your wires. Put one side of 24 volts lead, one the other side of it. So I have to unscrew these. Unscrew that. There we go. Put it back in again. Remember from the first video, mark which one's red. It's red on this side for positive, plus 24 volts, but it's the opposite side for the bed. So always good to have them the right way around. Otherwise, more than likely, kiss goodbye to your Duet. Put that back in there. We'll come back when it's done. Okay, so that's the main side of the bed done. So I'm just going to put some insulation tape around these as well. There we go. So now I need to route a 24 volt DC feed, which is basically the control signal to the solid state relay. So we need to route that up through here and probably along the back of here to this side of the relay. Now note, that's the positive side, that's the negative side. The polarity is important on these, so you need to get it the right way around. So we'll use some red and black wire to make sure we don't screw it up, and we'll connect from there to there. Okay, so we've got our red and black wire. Let's get rid of that. And get rid of that. I think I'll tin these because it is quite fine. Now you might think, ooh, it's a bit thin, that wire. Well, if it was to drive a normal bed circuit, it's way too thin. This wouldn't take the current, but all it's doing is providing a small amount of current to trigger the solid state relay. So you're not putting amps and amps and amps down this stuff. So this should be fine. There we go. So just wire these up. Like I said, polarity is important. So we'll get the red to the red, or red to the positive, should I say. There we go. That's in. Like I say, not too tight on these. They do have a tendency to strip the threads if you do them over tight. Back this one off. Like that. Okay, run this wire down this side and through here. There we go. That's where it should be. This side. Here we are. I'll cut this wire out there. Okay, I think what we will do is we'll secure this with some cable ties now before we put that into those connectors, because otherwise it's going to pull the wire out. So yes, I've got the cable ties, so we'll just route this nicely. I think we'll put that through there. In fact, I'm going to use the screw holes and put that through there. Just put it to the underside of the wire. There we go, so that's one. Put that there. I'll do it up in a minute. And I'll put this one through there. And route it back up through the screw hole. There we go. Yeah, I'll route it underneath the wires. And that's now not gonna go anywhere. I'll just snip these. Okay, right, so we'll shove this through here. There we go. I think I've got enough, but it's pretty close. Just got enough, I think. Actually, I might do that again. Yeah, good. Okay, so I'm going to do that bit again. It's just not happy. The piece of wire wasn't really long enough. So let's just do this. And we'll put this much longer piece in. Okay, back. So I've routed a longer piece of wire. So yeah, there's definitely a lesson there somewhere. Is it measure twice, cut once, I think my dad used to say. So yeah, so really it needs to run, you know, all the way around here, and then up. You can't really go across here, which is where the wire was going before, because it's going to interfere with the Z-axis. So show it up here. That's plenty more wire this time. Cut that there. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I'll just tin these ends. There we go, that's that one. Right, and then it's just a simple case of plumbing them into here the right way around. So I'll just get my screwdriver. So yeah, remember markings, positives this side for the main supply to the Duet, and positive opposite side for, sorry, not mains, for the 24 volt feed to the Duet, and positive the other side for a 24 volt feed to either a bed directly. I think it'll take, I think it'll do quite a few amps out of there. I can't remember exactly. I think it might be, what's the fuse? Yeah, bed fuse is 15 amps, so it's quite a lot. But yeah, we'll be taking milliamps, to be honest, because it's just driving a solid state relay. So we're going to, in this case, we'll put that into there. Make sure we've got it in. There we go. There we go, that's in. Oh, no, it's not. Just being a pain. That's it. And there we go. And this one. So that's it from the power supply side of the bed. So just a quick recap. Taken live feed from the main supply into the solid state relay, out to one side of the bed heater. The return side of the bed heater circuit goes back to neutral, and then from the control side, so the Duet can control it, which you just, no, it obviously pulses this thing. We've got positive, important that you get these right around, positive and negative, red and black, go to the bed heater circuit. So that is the power side sorted. Next bit we need to do is effectively the sensor. So we need to do the thermistor side from the bed into I think it's that one is the bed temperature sensor, and then that's the bed finished, and we can run it up on the GUI, configure the various settings in config.g, and sort of run it up and see where it gets to, and then calibrate it with a Fluke IR thermometer. So we'll do that in the next bit.